Welcome to Raw Food. Let's jump right into it. This is a little cold, not exactly a cold open, but we were just talking about these
Lord have mercy. Tell them, Jay.
all these officers. I think they were NYPD or whatever that
Tennessee.
those Tennessee. Oh yeah, the NYPD was something else. That was two officers.
That was the union boss who pleaded guilty to stealing money, but we digress.
Yeah, Tennessee, 5 officers, 2 of them were sergeants, 3 of them were black, 2 of them were white, all got fired and because they were all gang banging this one white lady on the force. And like all of them were married. They were all police officers, 2 of them were sergeants.
Weak.
Okay. They got exposed. They were all screwing each other on the clock.
Weak.
The emphasis on the sergeants is just because like 2 black sergeants, they probably had sizable pensions that they have now completely ruined, along with their reputations and lives, all for some white lady that some people are saying is not very attractive, and I tend to agree with those people. But of course, we don't want to body shame anyone and whatnot.
I don't give a. I'll body shame, bro. Have you? Look, these dudes did not bag Miss Universe. You lost your pension, humiliated your family, destroyed your reputation for that?
Like, imagine what
that's not Paris Hilton.
Right.
I'm just to be clear.
No, it isn't. And like she's very young looking. So I'm questioning why y'all are attracted to this specific type.
Right. She looks like a 9-year-old pixie boy. I mean, why are you sacrificing your family for that?
Yeah, I'm not saying she's underage, but like
she looks like a 9-year-old pixie boy.
Yeah, that's what you're fucking into? Like, what the? Every one of them need to be investigated.
Dude, this season of Earth is absolutely bananas. We are on the cusp again of yet another shooting. There have been 4 in California, Goshen, Half Moon Bay, Oakland, Monterey Park. Jay, what say you? What is wrong with this planet? Why is this happening again? Are we this oblivious that there are shootings back to back in one state and we're still just going food shopping and ordering pizzas and putting on Netflix? I think this whole planet we're all mental patients to walk outside and think any of this should be perceived as normal. What say you?
I agree. And you're absolutely right. We think this is normal. People aren't even batting an eye at some of this. I saw on Sunday, after the Monterey Park mass shooting, it's now 11 dead.
Oh.
I saw that it wasn't even trending on Twitter's top 10 for the US.
No, and the reason it's not is because we've already had, over 30 other mass shootings. There's 70 people killed so far, 167 people injured so far, and we're not even clearing a month into 2023 yet.
Right. And remember, a mass shooting is defined as 4 or more people being shot. There are all kinds of other shootings that fall just under that, like the Des Moines
fall under that.
That happened also in the last 72-ish hours. In Des Moines, Iowa, there were children murdered at a school. It's an alternative school, but one guy got murdered. No, I think it was 1 person or 2 people got murdered. 2 students. It was a targeted gang-related thing. It's an alternative school for kids that might be troubled a bit. It was started by someone who left the street life. I'm sorry, and somebody came there on some stupid gang beef and killed. I think 1 or 2 kids at school, and then killed 1 person who was an adult and was not affiliated, but was some kind of an admin or a teacher at the school. And in addition to that, a whole bunch of folks got killed at a college party in what was it, in Baton Rouge. It was at a nightclub, but it was a nightclub that was rented out for a college party. This is all in like the last 72 hours, not to mention everything that happened in California. So the big one that now hopefully is getting some people's attention, Monterey Park, also Half Moon Bay, which is not far from San Francisco at all. Guy went and shot up 2 different mushroom farms. I'm assuming these are legal mushroom farms. And in Oakland, people were shooting a music video and someone came by and shot up their music video shoot. That's all in the last 48 to 72 hours.
And that is on the heels of the 6-year-old who shot the teacher in Newport, Virginia. And that, just occurred about over a week ago. So how can the solution to this be arming more people? Or is the solution to this arming more people? Should all of us just be packing at this point?
Make it the Wild West.
I mean, maybe that's what it's coming down to. I mean, if everybody has a gun except the average citizen, maybe the perspective needs to change. I at this point, I don't know, but it doesn't seem like you can go to the dentist's office without somebody putting a bullet in somebody's head. I mean, are we this savage? We can't go to the market and pick up a block of cheese without somebody getting shot in the face. What's the matter with everybody?
It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And you cannot be faulted for suggesting that we throw the doors wide open to all ideas at this point. You can't take everybody's guns. Certain folks, certain conservatives usually will not let us even regulate guns or do background checks. But it seems like a lot of these shootings are being done with guns that were legally purchased, but maybe they had an illegal modification or they had an illegal extended clip or something like that. But for the most part, the gun in and of itself was purchased legally. So what are you gonna do? I will also add this, and I would love to get your take on it, since you and I have both, supported the Stop Asian Hate movement. We've seen Asian people getting discriminated against, attacked, physically attacked, verbally assaulted since the pandemic all over the country. The fact that the people who died in the Monterey Park shooting and the Half Moon Bay shooting were Asian, and the perpetrators were also Asian. We don't.
Thank God he wasn't black. Just saying.
we don't see very many Asian mass shooters.
That's true. We don't.
The last one we saw was Virginia Tech.
Correct. So what do you make of that? Is the virus, the sickness of shooting, just transitioning into other cultures now? It's moving on from white boy summer to all boy summer. I don't know.
I wonder, and again, Asian is a very broad term. So I wonder if there's more to it. I've heard, this might have been mostly Chinese in terms of both the perpetrator and the victims. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's a different nationality and potentially there's a beef there. We're still learning potential motives. Well, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I don't know, but what I do know is that I want off this ship. I mean, it's discouraging me from wanting to go to music festivals, anything outdoor. I'm really not as excited to do things like that anymore because, I mean, all it takes is one person. And quite frankly, I don't need this bullshit in my life. Just for what? What is wrong with everybody? Why is everybody this angry? Why are people this angry? And it feels just all misdirected.
That's a good point. Your anger should be directed at your leaders who have failed you.
Right. That's really where it's at. I mean, speaking of leaders that have failed us, I mean, how many more people are going to come out of the woodworks with confidential documents being in a box next to their kids' 5th grade artwork? I mean, what is going on over here?
Get into it.
Nobody
please.
has a leg to stand on. The Democrats were ripping apart the Trump administration for having all those confidential documents and Mar-a-Lago, and not that any of that was okay by any means. And of course, Trump allegedly doubling down and not wanting to return the documents and just being an overall wet ass about it. But how can you rip them apart and talk about this is a serious offense and how can anybody do this? And he must be out of his rabbit ass mind, and then turn around and then have another 30 documents under the hood of your car. And then when the Republicans are quick to throw caca back at the Democrats, oh, poof, lo and behold, they wheeled out the robot, Mike Pence, and lo and behold, there's documents at this guy's house. I mean, what is this? This is like a shitty game of name that tune. I mean, who else is going to come out of the closet? King Jong-un? He's going to come out with confidential documents from the White House? He's
actually the one who's been behind this whole time.
He's the puppet master behind it all.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't take anybody seriously. And to tell you the truth, between that foolishness going on and this whack job Santos that seems to have lied about everything other than the color of his eyes, having a seat in Congress, I don't even want to participate or vote at all for anybody. None of these candidates deserve any light whatsoever.
Yeah.
None of them.
Kitara Ravashi.
Shameful. It's shameful. Why does this country keep rewarding bad people?
And why don't the leaders actually step up? At least when the Democrats had unethical people, even
they weeded them out to their own demise, I think.
Yes. But they did force those folks to resign.
Yes.
The Republicans know that the seat that Santos picked up would likely go back to the Democrats. The whole point, the whole reason why Santos was a big deal is because he flipped a Democratic seat.
A normally blue area. Yeah, he totally flipped Long Island. Long Island for us is like California's Orange County.
Mm-hmm. It can go either way. Sometimes it's red, but recently, especially under Trump, it flipped blue, but it was probably eventually going to flip back, and now it did. And the Republicans don't want to give that up.
Right.
So you've got to...
nobody wants to give up a win, right? Nobody.
Right. So they're willing to keep this lying hypocrite in office when they really should just say, you need to resign.
Right.
Wow. Let's talk more about these confidential documents, because we lambasted Trump when we spoke about that. And at that time, I pointed out any regular person in the military with a security clearance who got caught with this would be in front of a doggone military tribunal.
If I got caught with these documents, I would have gotten the electric chair without going to court. This is absolute nonsense. What's going on?
Exact. CIA fucking black site, nigga.
Right.
And everybody you know.
I'd be at Guantanamo. I'd be at the bottom of Guantanamo right now if I had just like confidential documents in like my boiler room next to the cat litter. I mean, what is wrong with this country? Here is my understanding of the timeline of events with regard to Biden's administration and the quote unquote classified documents. So apparently back in November, but possibly sooner, and even highly likely that it was before the midterm elections, and intentionally so, documents were initially found in Biden's personal possession, and this information was intentionally not released because of the midterm elections. Nonetheless, in early December, a few classified documents were found by Biden's lawyers in an office that Biden had used when he was working in a Washington think tank when he was already out of office. However, they automatically notified the White House's counsel's office and notified the National Archives and Records Administration and immediately returned the documents. Then NARA, which is the National Archives and Records Administration, notified the Justice Department. And within the week, the FBI and the Justice Department began assessing the situation to determine the extent of the damage of Biden having this material. I guess upon their search, a small number of classified documents, in addition to the first set of documents that was found by Biden's lawyers, were found in his Delaware house. Having said that, it was in the garage with his most prized possession, which is known to be his Corvette. And I don't know if that should bring us comfort or not, but nonetheless, that's where the documents were found. And after another search of the Biden's home again, they turned over everything else that they found to the Justice Department. And the Biden administration, his staff, completely worked with the Department of Justice, which is probably one of the distinctions of the handling of this in comparison to how Trump and his people handled this, if there is a comparison to be made at all. Continuing down the timeline, if you compare it to Trump, he found documents found in May of 2021. The National Archives and Records Administration notified Trump's lawyers that 24 boxes of original records were missing and seemed to have been retained by Trump. Between May and December of 2021, NARA had to continue requesting those documents from Trump. So that fact is one distinction between the handling of the documents once they were discovered between the presidents.
Mm-hmm.
According to my information, the boxes included more than 700 pages marked classified national security, up to the level of top secret, and including sensitive compartmented program and special access program materials. Some documents are returned in shreds and have been torn up by the Trump administration and his staff, and the most classified documents were mixed in with ordinary documents, clothes, and other objects. NARA immediately alerted the FBI. So, what do you make of that distinction in response time? And on the heels of that, it has just come out today that there are documents found in Mike Pence's personal possession as well. What say you, Jay?
I think the same punishment that anybody else found with these classified documents, any regular person would have been subject to, should also extend to the current president, the former president, and the former vice president, and anybody else who is caught with classified fucking documents.
According to CNBC, lawyers for former Mike Pence said a small number, so we don't know what the exact number is yet, of classified documents were found in his Indiana home. They were discovered on January 16th after Pence allegedly had outside counsel search his home and records out of an abundance of caution.
He had outside counsel search his home. He didn't know where his own classified documents were. You got that many classified documents that you need somebody else to go in there and find them for you?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's out of pocket on this, and no side should be throwing rocks at anybody when everybody seems to be out of pocket. And what I don't understand is how come nobody noticed these documents were missing till now? How important could these documents be if nobody knew they were gone?
Yeah, what the fuck is up with the chain of custody?
Yes, and how are they able to just walk out with that? I mean, people walk out with a flash drive from a computer and get, thrown down to the ground by black ops. How do these people walk out with boxes of information and nobody's like, hey, what's that?
Yeah, and we should, point out there are different levels of classified. There's, secret, top secret, then SCA, secure, compartmentalized. I forget what the A is for. But that's essentially the need to know basis, right? I'm sure there are other levels of classification that regular people just don't know about. That's just what I was able to find on Google. Okay.
Right.
How is it that you have anything that's classified as any of those levels, secret, top secret, or SCA, and you need someone else to go in there? You can't expect us to believe that this was a small amount, but you don't exactly know where it is. So, hey, go in there and just look around and all my stuff and just check and see. Wait one doggone minute. Like, that means you aren't treating this with the care that it needs to be treated with. Either that or classified doesn't mean what we all think it means. And it's just not that important.
Everybody has egg on their face. So everybody needs to stop throwing stones.
Right.
And again, this is why I don't believe in any of these people. This is why career politicians shouldn't have career politician jobs. We need to clean house on both sides. This is absolute nonsense. This is an absolute disregard for the rule of law. This is poor etiquette. And I don't even understand how anybody's saying anything. Right now, everybody should just be quiet because everybody's wrong and focus on just getting their ducks lined up. It's disgusting.
Yeah, if the Democrats were more strategic before they started leaking this to the press, this stuff.
Somebody might have said, hey, anybody want to do a quick search and grab for Biden before we start slinging caca in the news of the Trump administration just to find out that there are boxes of shit under his Corvette?
Yeah, just maybe somebody should just do a quick check.
Especially because he's been looking real shaky lately.
You got all these staffers. Come on. Nobody in that reports up to the chief of staff thought maybe as this is becoming a story with Trump, somebody should do a quick check with Biden just to make sure.
It's shameful. And honestly, I wish he had the dignity to just step down at this point. And I really wish we'd stop talking about Trump. Can we just move on? Are these the only two human beings in the planet that can lead us to the next level of humankind? Is this it? These two?
That's the thing about American culture war. It turns, our politicians only offer us culture war bullshit instead of actual solutions, thus turning themselves into demagogues. And so they are celebrities. They're not just politicians. They're not leaders. They are,
right.
They're the face of whatever side of the culture war you're on. And so people have to pick a side. They have to love the side that they're on and the representative of that. Regardless of what they do, they have to defend it.
Well, it's stifling healthy dialogue about issues that are meaningful. It's stifling creativity. It's stifling finding the connections between people who on the surface appear different from one another. It's making politics boring, if not just straight out trash. And I don't understand how like we as a society have just accepted this nonsense as our reality. I mean, it's like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, throwing it at the wall and going, vote for this. I mean, how many times we're gonna let these people pee on our head and we're gonna stand there like it's raining with an umbrella?
It's ridiculous.
Nonsense. This country's getting what it settles for. Apparently, what it's settling for is the likes of this whack job from Long Island. This guy has lied about his name. He's lied about where he's gotten his funding from. He's lied about his mother being in 9/11. He lied about her dying there. He lied about being on a volleyball team at Baruch College. He lied about having knee replacement surgery. He lied about being robbed in the city. I mean, this guy lies about the color of rice. And somehow he bamboozled enough people to slide his ass into a representative of a city like New York.
Yeah.
I want no part of this. Good luck, Earth.
Yeah. And that's more of a comment on the people who voted for him than it is on him.
I mean, he pretended to be Jewish. His family's from Brazil. He lied about working with Goldman Sachs. I mean, now there's pictures of him allegedly performing in drag that he says was not him. But I mean, where does it stop?
Okay, now he started off saying it wasn't him. Then a whole bunch of these Brazilian drag queens went and said, wait a minute, bitch, we've got receipts on receipts on receipts. And so now he's saying,
we got photos.
Yeah, he's saying, I was young and I just enjoyed myself at a festival. So it's funny.
Is that what we do at festivals when we're young? We dress up in drag?
Right. You're not a drag queen.
And that's fine.
You're young and you're enjoying yourself at a festival. But if anybody else does drag, there are all kinds of horrible things. They're a groomer and whatnot.
Right. And it's strange, too, that he's LGBT and yet was recently divorced from a woman right before he ran for office.
Oh, yeah. Is he claiming to be gay or is he embracing the fact that he's probably bi? Or was he gay this whole time and he was just on the down low with this woman? Like, what? Will
we ever know? Because the lies come so fast and furious. It's like you can't keep track of them. It's like Neo. At a certain point, how many of these bullets can you dodge? Because it literally seems like he lies about everything, including the taste of air.
Yeah. If the Republicans had one bit of credibility,
right?
Or
so what leg do they have to stand on at this point to even denounce this nonsense? This is what they've encouraged with all those whack jobs that they have as part of their party at this point. Well, here's another one. Add it to the crate.
Yeah, why aren't you demanding that this person resign? And it's solely because, you know what? He's going to sit.
They need him.
We need him, and he's going to be a loyal culture warrior. We don't care if he's a hypocrite. Is he going to vote?
Help us win.
Yeah, he's going to come out here and be a culture warrior for us. He's going to vote against women's autonomy. He's going to vote against everything else that we want him to vote against. And we don't care about it.
It's shameful. And I hope at some point we snap out of it and do better. But apparently we're not going to do better right now. So hold on to your hats, America. It's going to be a ride. Stay tuned on this episode of Raw Food.